Lisa Adams. Everybody, I'm Lisa Adams, and I serve as the director for the Military and Veterans Center over at UT Dallas. We are an office that is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We provide programs, resources, and support for military connected students. So we, a lot of our space is used for studying. We have computer stations, free printing, coffee, areas with whiteboards so that you can work in groups and do problems on the wall if you need to. So it's a space on campus for our students. And on top of that, then we do some programming that is specific for our student veterans, such as vet working. We call vet working our networking with companies. We also have a peer support program so that any new undergraduate veteran that comes in will be paired with a current student. And that person can serve as a resource while you are going through your first semester. As far as our benefits, of course, we certify VA and Hazelwood benefits. That is not something that our office does. We have a sister office in our Office of Financial Aid. They have a veterans benefits team. They take care of all the certification. And so our certification is automated for the most part. When you are admitted, first you have to be admitted. You can start getting your certification paperwork in. We have a website that lists all the different chapters or Hazelwood. You will connect to those links, and then you can upload documents. And then once all your documents are uploaded, they have them on file. And then each semester, you just let them know whether or not you're going to use your VA benefits by listing the courses that you're taking. So it's a little bit different maybe than what you're used to, but we have a lot of students, as well as 8 different schools, 8 different advising offices. So there's some coordination that goes on there. One of the things that our office will offer is just prospective student advising. So if you have questions about transferring to UTD, you can sit down with us, or you can call us, or we can do a virtual meeting to talk about that process. I'm not going to do an articulation of your transcripts. That's something a different office can do. But UT Dallas has some pretty great transfer policies. If you have 42 transferable hours and a GPA of 3.0, you are under an assured admission criteria. But typically it's about 30 hours that they're looking to evaluate whether or not you can transfer in successfully. And so we have 42 core hours in Texas. That's a lot of the courses that you may be taking right now at Collin, which will then transfer into your major. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I don't want to get too deep into that. Another thing, just for your benefit, I linked our website, and you can see on that website, one of our tabs is Attend UT Dallas. And we've just gone through we've thought through, okay, what are all the different things that people need to know or think of before they apply, when they apply, and then once they're admitted. And so you can link through that. You can see that we do have transfer plans. And again, a lot of that depends on those 42 core hours. But if you want to be efficient with your benefits and just take the classes that you need in order to transfer, follow that transfer plan. We also have links, description for how to get your $50 application fee waived. Just all veterans, not military affiliated veterans, or those currently serving can show proof of service and have that $50 fee waive. So it only costs you time to apply to UTD. There are deadlines, and that's really important to know. We do have deadlines to apply. If you apply beyond that deadline, you will be assessed a late fee, and your application may not be evaluated in time for the next semester. So really follow those deadlines for getting your applications in. And again, that is on the website, but that's something that we can go over. Other than that, I think I've hit the high points. I said this yesterday, and I want to again just foot stomp that you should be filling out your FAFSA. If you're a full-time student, know that the FAFSA does offer loans, but it also offers grants. And by filling that out, you may have some additional monies in which to use as a student. And if your FAFSA is based on income tax form 1040 from when you were on active duty or you were in a different employment situation, our institution can evaluate your current financial situation. So you'll fill out the FAFSA, but then once you're at our institution, you can ask our financial aid office to reevaluate based on your current situation. And we see that is definitely applicable depending on when someone left active duty or maybe changed jobs or is in a different employment situation.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Very informative and touched up on a lot of stuff that we talked about yesterday and some stuff that we didn't go over. So guys, if y'all have any questions, now is the time. If not, I can go over my questions, but y'all typically have some good questions that I would like to hear. So does anyone have questions?
So far, I don't have any questions. Everything was pretty much straightforward. Do you have any resources or links that I guess veterans typically overlook, or any, I guess, yeah, so I guess anything or any resources that veterans typically overlook or don't utilize as much as they should during this whole transferring process?
That's a good question. And I think the deadlines are really important for applications. We have our admissions process is we're not open admissions, which is how community colleges are set up. So when you apply, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for an admissions decision. And so depending on how many credit hours you have, you may strategize at what point you apply, but you definitely want to get that in. I've seen students wait, we start school, let's say in the end of August, and it's August 1st, and they're like, okay, I want to come to your school. And it's like, well, our deadline was July 1st. Your application may not get processed. You're going to be assessed a fee, and a lot of the classes are already full. So my main thing is if you have an idea when you want to transfer in, kind of work back. Our orientations for fall, for the people who start in the fall, our transfer orientations, they start in March, I believe, maybe mid to late March. I'm not sure that we have the dates yet. But once you go through transfer orientation and you have that meeting with your academic advisor, and again, each of our 8 schools have their own office of academic advisors. So then you will have a hold removed from your account so that you can register. And so depending on your major, there are certain majors that are the classes fill up. And so you want to make sure you're getting your application in sooner than later so that you can ensure you get all the classes that you need. Another thing, if you don't get your, so let's say you transfer in with about 30 hours. And so you still have some of those lower level classes required. You can always take classes at UTD. We can be your parent institution, and you can still take classes at a community college, right? With a parent institution letter. So I describe it as your parent institution is the one that holds your degree plan. We're your parent, and we're going to allow you to go have, a class with another school. And so if you transfer into UTD and you still have, maybe you want to take a couple more math classes at Collin, you can do so as long as your academic advisor shows that it's on your degree plan. And the VA will combine the classes you take at UTD and the classes that you're taking at Collin to see whether or not you're full-time, and that would be 12 hours. And so that's also just another strategy that I think students can use as they're transferring in. Sometimes the classes at Collin are a lot more flexible in terms of time and modality. We typically do not have online classes. That is just something that we shifted to during COVID. So we are getting back to those in-person classes. So if you need that kind of flexibility, you may want to use that as part of your strategy. Once you get to the 300 and 400 levels, you'll be all at UTD, just because those are our upper level classes. But you can still maybe work some of those Collin classes in while you're enrolled at UTD.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, Lisa. Yeah, The parent institution letters, and students taking classes I call in, it's, I see it, but I don't see it enough. And that's definitely a good way to, just help you become successful. So, if you, I don't know what campuses y'all go to, but, if you have any questions about the process, Lisa basically touched up on it, but it's a really easy process. So, does anyone else have any other questions? If not, that's fine. So I wanted to talk about, so, no one's perfect. I know with the GI Bill, they give us 36 months, but sometimes students don't always finish that bachelor's degree within those months. Can you kind of touch up on the STEM scholarship and I guess Hazelwood as well?
Yep, absolutely. So depending on what your major is, you may be eligible for an additional 9 months of VA benefit for STEM majors. STEM is science, technology, engineering, math. It includes a pretty long list of majors. You can go on the VA's website and they have the list of majors. There's a classification for them, and on our website with all of our list of academic programs, you'll see that classification number, so you'll be able to match it up. But so if you exhaust your VA benefit, your post 9/11 GI Bill or forever GI Bill, then you can apply for the STEM. And we have, from what I understand, as long as your major is on that list, you will be given that extension, and that's really good. That's 2, possibly 3 more semesters. For those who may not be in a STEM scholarship, then if you are a Texas resident or you had Texas as your home of record when you joined the military, you'll have the Hazelwood Act. And for us, it's the same veterans benefits team that does your VA benefits that's going to help you with that Hazelwood. They will already have your DD 214 on file. You'll just have to submit the Hazelwood application once a year and then show with your COE or your certificate of eligibility that you have 0 federal benefits remaining, and then you can start using Hazelwood. So Hazelwood, of course, is just a tuition exemption. It does not pay the BAH. And so again, getting that STEM scholarship is pretty awesome if you're in that major. Another thing to consider is if you have a service-connected disability, you can talk to the VA about getting your education through VRNE or it used to be Voc Rehab. It's now Veteran Readiness and Employment, but they also are, it's very similar to the post 9/11. It's tuition and housing, and they pay for your books. There's actually a 1-for-1 with the books. So that is something that we have quite a few students that don't know about VRNE. And rather than using their post 9/11, they suspend using post 9/11, and then they transition over to using VRNE. It's chapter 31, whereas the post 9/11 is chapter 33. And then they use that for their undergraduate degree. You work with a VA counselor on that. And there are some definitely additional steps involved with that process, but in some ways it can benefit you because if you get an undergraduate degree using VRNE, then you have your post 9/11 GI Bill still there for you to use later on if you decide to go to graduate school or get a professional degree, go to law school, medical school, those sort of things. Yeah, so there's different strategies involved. Some other things, and I remember I talked about this yesterday. So when you transfer to UTD, we have some really great transfer scholarships, and students are automatically considered for the transfer scholarship. You have to have at least 30 transferable hours and a GPA above 3.0, but there's a gradient. So if you had a 4.0 and you're transferring in, you would be offered $1,500 a semester for the next 6 semesters at UTD, as long as you kept your GPA at UTD up. And then depending on where your GPA is, it goes from like 1,500 all the way down to 500. And then there's an honor society that if you're invited to, you can show that you're a part of this honor society. It's the Transfer Honor Society. I'll get the name, I'll put it in the link here soon. And that's an additional $500. So you can actually transfer to UTD if you have a high GPA at Collin with up to $2,000 a semester in transfer scholarships. This does not work against your GI Bill either. So it'll stack. So just keep those things in mind, like to be motivated to do well and then transfer in, because that will also help with your admissions decision, you know, having that high GPA. And let me find that link so you can see.
As you look that up, I do just want to touch up on the peer mentor program that y'all have at UT. I don't know very many universities or community colleges that have that. Unfortunately, here at Collin, we don't have that. It's something that we should look into, but I would say definitely take advantage of that. You know, it's always just nice to have someone following up on you and just be able to get that guidance that's needed. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they can also, I don't know how long I think you said they have to complete one semester before they become a peer mentor, right?
Yeah, that's really what we're looking at, because we if you're going to be giving assistance to new people, you need to have at least one
Right.
semester under your belt. So I linked the transfer scholarship so you can take a look at that. It's, I think, Phi Theta Kappa is that honors. Yeah, Phi Theta Kappa. If you're invited to Phi Theta Kappa, join it, because you're going to get a scholarship from UTD if you show that. And then I linked our peer advisors. So we're one of 47 institutions nationwide that have this program. It is hard to do at, I think, the community college level, Ricky, because your students are in and out so quickly.
That's right.
Yeah, but there are several community colleges across the nation that have it, this particular program. But what we try to do, obviously we can't have peer advisors that are in every single major, but for those that are in engineering or computer science, you'll get a peer advisor who are in that school. And we try to, usually we'll have peer advisors in both School of Management and engineering, and then the other 6 schools can be hit or miss. But you will just have that person as a reference. And you know, we've got some great stories of just our peer advisors doing such a great job mentoring, that their students that they mentored wanted to become peer advisors and help the next group out. So if it's something that you feel strongly about, and maybe if you have a bad experience, maybe you want to be a peer advisor, just so that you can assist the next person with the things maybe you wish you would have known. But they'll send, every so often, they'll send out messages just to remind people, hey, registration appointments are going to be announced this week. Go in, log into your in the system, see when your registration dates are. They just try to bring to mind things that you may not realize in your first semester. And then for those who want letters of recommendation, if you're in this program, I typically will do letters of recommendation. We meet monthly for training, so I get to know the students who are our peer mentors. And part of your training for our peer advisors, we go to different places on campus. We do little tours. We bring in resources. I mean, all of our peer advisors typically hear from Cohen Clinic at least once a year, and our student counseling center and our tutoring center, just so they know, even if they have never used those resources, they know about those resources so they can share those with the incoming students.
Yesterday, you kind of touched up on the Student Veterans Association. I know that's another amazing group that y'all have. Could you talk about it a little bit?
Absolutely, and I'll put their link in. All the things that I'm linking are on our website. Our website is really thorough, but it has layers to it. So, and we're going to be transferring over to WordPress soon, so our website will look different, like in a few months. But so our Student Veterans Association, they're a chapter of the Student Veterans of America, which are pretty standard student organization on most college campuses. We have 5 officers, and we did send all of our officers to Orlando for the national conference. So if you want to be a leader in that organization, we typically try to get funding to get our students to that conference. For the last few years, we've had corporations that have paid for their trips to those conferences. But it's an opportunity to just have another student organization on your resume, but they focus on 3 areas, primarily like professional development. So we bring in companies at their meetings. We had Southwest Airlines and Capital One at their last meeting, and they just told me yesterday who the other 2 are for the March meeting. I can't remember. And then they also do happy hours. We have like a north. It's called North Side on our campus. There's apartments there, but there's like a Starbucks, a few eating establishments, and a few bars there. And so they'll do a happy hour there once a month. I think they're trying to this month. And then they do coffee, like coffee and donuts once a month in our center. So kind of hit all the different people who may want coffee versus something else. And then we do some community service. So we're planning, we haven't gotten the date down, but we'll be doing hopefully community service at eQuest. If you haven't heard about that, it's Equestrian Therapy in Dallas. And they have stalls that you have to like rake out the stalls and clean trails and stuff. So that might be our community service this semester. But it is just a good organization to get your feet wet at UT Dallas, getting to know other students. And then as you are progressing in your major at UTD, you may want to find a professional organization related to your major. And there's a ton of like engineering societies. There's like a Formula One racing car society. And then like if you're an accounting major, you want to maybe become a part of that accounting organization just because they connect you to people locally. So the Student Vet organization, I think, is just a really great way to get yourself involved initially and then learn more about what's at UTD, because there's over 350 organizations. There's also athletics. We do have a really we have a great rec center with a pool, but there are teams you can get involved with, rugby. Those are just like club teams. Yesterday I mentioned we had a student vet who was president of the billiards team. So unfortunately that happened during COVID. So all of their tournaments were canceled, but you have the opportunity to get involved and to be leaders on our campus. We've had several students serve as presidents of their organizations, their professional organizations. So that is just one way to get involved. And here's the thing, I know you guys have competing interests. You're like busy in your lives. And so what you are interested in doing, you should be able to find something that kind of aligns with your interests. You may just be the type that you drive in, go to class, go back to the park, like the path between the parking lot and your building. But if you are on campus or you have a few hours in between classes, definitely stop by our center and just check out what we have. We also have a staff that's very connected throughout our campus. It's a large campus. There's a lot of offices. And so if there's something you are not sure of, there's a resource that you may need, or you don't even know you need a resource, we may know of a resource that can assist you to help you get to your academic and career goals. So utilize the resources that you are paying for, or the VA is paying for through your GI Bill, because it's like a little base. I mean, we have a health center, we have a wellness center that has a dietitian that you can get appointments with. We have the rec center. We don't have a commissary, but we have little shops where you can get some snacks. But it is a nice community for you to just be involved with while you have the chance.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just say I didn't take advantage of that opportunity when I went to the university. I didn't visit my Veterans Resource Center until like the week of graduation, and I realized I missed out on so much. So I encourage you to take advantage of all the resources that UTD has. And yeah, so is there any, I know you basically covered anything, but is there any like last minute tips that you have for them when they transfer? I know you mentioned the deadlines and all sorts of stuff, but do you have any other suggestions?
So again, make sure that UTD has the major that you want to transfer into. We don't have every major. An example, just like within engineering, we do not have civil engineering or aerospace engineering. So there may be other institutions in the Metroplex that have what you're looking for. So definitely take a look at the majors, make sure that we have what you're looking for. And if not, just talk to let me know. And I'm connected to our other universities here in the Metroplex and all the UT schools throughout Texas. But our veteran offices, we know each other. We want to make sure students get to the best institution that will help them reach their goals. So I've had several conversations, students in my office wanting to go to UTD, and then they realize we don't have the major that they're looking for. And so that's something that you can do your research in advance. And I know that like the majority of our students are veterans, are transfer students. We have a huge transfer community. And so you know, a lot of people are commuting to campus, those kind of things. So you're going to fit in with the rest of the non-traditional students who are on that same path. But I can't really think of anything else. Just look at the semester that you want to attend, work back when you need to get that application in. And then if you have any other questions, you can meet with us on the link the first link that I sent. We have a contact us tab, and within there, there's like there's a Qualtrics survey that you can fill out. And if you fill that out, it'll auto generate another email, but on that email is a bookings page. So you can meet with me either phone, virtual, or in person. And if none of the times on there I only block out so many times per week, but if those times don't work for you, just let us know and we will set up another appointment at a different time. We're just trying to make that easier for us to have it set up automatically. And then just another thing too, if you are, depending on what your major is, some of our advising offices do prospective student counseling. So what they would do is they'd look at what you're doing at Collin and if you had other transcripts, and they could tell you, okay, yep, here's where you're at, here's what you need to do. I know engineering does this, but if you're planning to go into engineering, computer science, for transfer students, they really want to see that you're on track for calculus. If you haven't already taken calculus, pre-calculus. And here's another tip. Our School of Management, all the degrees are Bachelor of Science. So you can get a Bachelor of Science in Business Admin, not a Bachelor of Arts. That means you're going to be taking calculus. So if you want a Bachelor of Business Administration, you're going to take calculus, or marketing, you're going to take calculus. So you can take calculus at Collin and transfer in with a C. And that doesn't affect your UTD GPA. However, it may affect your transfer GPA, which may affect your scholarship. So you figure out how you want to strategize calculus if you're going into the School of Management. But those are, that really sets UTD apart, that Bachelor of Science.
All right. Well, it sounds like we covered everything. And Lisa, I really appreciate you sharing all this information for these students. And let me stop recording real quick.